Good evening, y'all, and welcome to Emmanuel's Café, Cædmon. Very glad to be here tonight, and glad to have with us Joe Buchanan, and who will be playing for us tonight. And you can find his music at joebuchananmusic.com, and I know you'll want to after you hear him play tonight.
Aww, thanks a bunch for that introduction. You know, if I did my job right, it's the first thing that comes up on Google. So that's how we know. You're going to hear a bunch of stuff tonight. Again, my name is Joe Buchanan. I do Jewish country music, but there's a lot of common messages and common values that run throughout all of this. I'm going to break some of that down for you, but we're going to start with a tune called Sing a Song. Yeah, well, if you ask me, do I believe in miracles? I'd say, yes, I do, yes, I do. How can I believe in what I cannot see? Well, my friends, I can see you. It's a little less than fate, a lot more than chance that brings beautiful strangers our way. So yes, I believe in miracles, and I believe they happen every day. So come on, sing a song to the one that has loved you for so long. Yes, oh now sing a song to the one that has loved you for so long. What's that sound like in Hebrew? Lechu neranana ladonai so yeshenu nekad mafanav betoda bizmirot narialo. Sing a song to the one that has loved you for so long. Yeah, oh now sing a song to the one that has loved you for so long. And if you ask me, do I believe in miracles? I'd say, yes, I do, yes, I do. How can I believe in what I cannot see? Well, my friends, I can see you. It's a little less than fate and a lot more than chance that brings beautiful strangers our way. So yes, I believe in miracles, and I believe they happen every day. Oh, thanks a bunch. Well, so it's mentioned earlier that I do Jewish country music. I wasn't always Jewish. I'm about I'm going to be 9 years old here pretty soon, so I'm really tall for my age, and I joined the tribe about 9 years ago, and you know, we all go through our exploration and our trying to find ourselves and where do we fit and what do we believe and all this kind of stuff. And I think everybody's got to find their path. You got to find your path, and you got to, you know, sometimes go through some stuff to do it. And you know, I started writing Jewish music to help understand the stuff I was going through and to help, you know, explain some things also to some folks and share some of that good message. So I'm going to play this Hine Ma Tov next, which is kind of a celebration of being together. But one of the things that people always tell me is they go, well, you've always been Jewish, you know, because your soul's always been Jewish. And I said, well, that sounds great, but I don't remember that. You know, I don't have that memory. But I'm always told that, and it always reminds me of this. there, hang on that mountain, been told, yeah, that you were with me, brothers and sisters, and weren't we all? I remember, oh, that there was thunder hanging on that mountain, yeah, from the Lord. We carry in us all those memories, all of those words that came before. Hine matov u'manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. I remember that I was there on that mountain long ago. I've been told, yeah, that you were with me, brothers and sisters, weren't we all? There was thunder on that mountain from the Lord. We carry in us all the words that came before. Hine matov, hine matov u'manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet kulam gam yachad. Y'all got this great platform up here. I didn't realize how loud that was going to be when I stomped my foot. You don't need a rhythm section when you got this stage. Hi, folks. Welcome, welcome. So I don't know if any of y'all feel like doing any singing tonight. Of course, I'll invite you to. Well, no matter what kind of singer you are, whether you're a shower singer, a hallway singer, a back of the shul cantor, whatever kind of singer you happen to be, I promise you, God gave you the most beautiful voice out there. And I'm going to show, thanks. I'm going to show you the words of this, and we say, how good, how good, how good, how good, Lord. I love the house where you dwell. And you could say God, you could say Adonai, you could say whatever feels good to you. But it's going to sound like this. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. You can throw some chicken necking on there if you want. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. Well, my tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, and oh my tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, and how good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. Well, my tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, and oh my tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, and how good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. My tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. My tovu, oh halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. Oh, thanks a whole bunch. Who's the whistler? Who was doing that? Professional whistler, right here, right here. That could be almost like that could almost be like a separate gig, right? I'll come whistle at shows. It'd be like that pro whistler. It's so good. All right. So one of the challenges, not growing up Jewish or really with anything, resembling, and it's interesting because I never met a Jewish person until I met my wife, and I didn't know she was Jewish when I met her. I fell madly in love, like love at first sight's a real thing, and April will probably tell you it took her some time, but I had no idea until much later on into our marriage that she was Jewish. I grew up in Houston, here in Houston. We have the largest conservative synagogue in the country. Never met a Jewish person that I know of because there were no outward signs, kippot or anything like that. So it's been an interesting journey the last few years, suddenly meeting this massive family that I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I got here when I did, But part of the challenges with writing music is there's so much to cover. There's a lot of deep thought. There's a lot of beautiful messages. One of the ones that we have is around this next song I'm going to play for you called Return. It's around the idea that if you ever want to change what you're doing, if you ever want to start living differently, you can do that. You're not held back or weighed down by anything in the past. You can just shift, turn, and start living differently. It even says in there that, how do you become righteous if you're wicked? Well, stop being wicked and just start being righteous. Make a different choice. And we're empowered by our Creator to do that. So that's really what this is about. This is a song that we do a lot of the high holy days around Rosh Hashanah, and it's called Return. Well, I will take a long look at me and think about what it is that I see. Have I been good? Woe to you. Did I do all that I said I'd do? Remembering the words that I've used, thinking about the times that I was rude. Well, if I am thankful for this gift, let me say it with deeds, not just lips. It's gonna be a brave new year, and it's starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, reach out for others, oh, when they fall. And I will rejoice in my faith, remember that love is why we're made, to be the very best that I can be for the world and for me. 'Cause every day we live our lives, some days we let ourselves slide and we forget our way, but thankfully it's not too late. Avinu Malkeinu, Chomeinu Ba'anenu. I may have done wrong at times, I know, but through my actions I will show it's gonna be a brave new year, and starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, and reach out for others, oh, when they fall. Well, I will rejoice in my faith, remember that love is why we're made, to be the very best that I can be for the world and for me. Yeah, Teshuvah, Teshuvah, return, oh, return. Teshuvah, oh, Teshuvah, oh, return, oh, return. It's gonna be a brave new year, and it's starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, and reach out for others, oh, when they fall. Well, I will rejoice in my faith, Remember that love is why we're made, and be the very best that I can be for the world and for me. Yeah, Teshuva, Teshuva, return, oh, return, Teshuva, oh, Teshuva, oh, return, oh, return. Thank you so much. So one of the words that my wife and I use all the time is the word midrash, which is kind of like storytelling to find a deeper. We have a rabbi here with us tonight, so I'm like looking back, looking for the thumbs up. All right, we're good to go. To study and explore and find deeper meaning. You know, a lot of times the Torah will give us the A of something and the C, but not the B. Right? We know this happened, we know this happened, but what happened in between? Because this is so significant, something came before it, right? And that's where we can kind of go in and dive deep and find some deeper meaning. So I'm going to play this song called Song for Eve. One of the concepts that we have is in Judaism, we don't have the concept of original sin. So we look at the garden, and so we're trying to understand what story is going on there. And my wife and I take this word midrash and we turned it into a verb. We midrash all the time. So we're always trying to come up with ideas. You know, what does this mean? What is all this about? And so we started thinking about the story of the garden. And there's an interesting idea here, right? That there were two trees, right? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. And Adam and Eve were told, do not eat from these trees, they're not for you. But how could Eve have known it was bad until after she ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Right? So it's like, I'm not comparing people to dogs, but if I put out 2 bowls of dog food and I tell my dogs, don't eat from these, right? And so my dog's going to be like, oh, what's up? And then they find out it was bad afterwards, and they're like, oh, my bad, my mistake, right? So what happened? So Eve takes a bite of this apple and suddenly has the weight. Hi. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. She has the weight of responsibility all of a sudden. Whoa, I did the wrong thing here, and I'm going to be held to task for it. And then, of course, the next thing she does is offer it up to Adam, right? Don't you want to get in trouble too? No, don't you want this responsibility for your life? So then they have to leave the garden, right? And so we thought of it, we're like, this sounds like a coming-of-age story in a lot of ways, right? There's a fight at home, parents are upset, get out of the house or whatever, the kids move out, and then they got to struggle out in the world and find their own way, and you see that happen. It's also when you first hear about people being born, babies, all kinds of stuff. Struggling is where living is. That's how we figure out who we are, and we learn how strong we are. I know I'm taking a long way around the barn to get to the front door here on what's supposed to be a concert, but I want to tell you, my favorite midrash, did I hear this from you, Rabbi? Oh, it may have been. Oh, you're here. I got to get it right. I think I heard this from you. The idea that Adam and Eve, that God comes back to them at the end of their days and says, look, you can come on back to the garden now. You can come on back. There's no fear. There's no worry. There's no age. There's no trouble or struggle. And that Eve looks around at the life they've built and says, oh, we're okay here. It's kind of a beautiful story. So we felt like Eve kind of needed a love song. So this is called Song for Eve. Where would we be if the world didn't taste so sweet? Would we be the partners that we were meant to be? 'Cause in that garden was life, but that you could only grow so high. We were never eternal, but living on given time. And when God made you, it was no mistake. Creation was done and it was good for goodness sake. 'Cause if you wanted to grow, well, out of that garden you had to go to struggle. Well, out in the world, and that coming of age meant we were lifted right off the page, or to soar high and earn the right to be inscribed. And when God made you, it was no mistake. Creation was done and it was good for goodness sake. And when you chose us with the fruit you ate, you gave us a chance to reflect the light that God made. Where would we be if not for Eve? Would we even be if not for Eve? That is so cool. I'm a terrible whistler. So I think it is so neat. The people who do this piece of business, right, like the gym coach whistle, I don't know what you call that thing, but the gym coach whistle or like that, it's just, that's a great whistle. Over the course of the pandemic, one of the things that's been so difficult for people is getting together, right? But there's been some beautiful stuff that's come out of this idea of being told not to be together. We found new ways to do that. I mean, Zoom is now an official word when you're having any kind of video call. Doesn't matter if it's Skype or WebEx or whatever they call it. They go, "Oh, do you have time to Zoom this afternoon?" "Oh, sure." "What are we using?" "Oh, WebEx." It's like what, Coke here in Houston, right? "You want a Coke?" "Yeah, what kind?" "Dr. Pepper." It's that kind of thing. But we found new ways to be together, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I mean, I've seen prayer leaders lead services over things like Zoom and doing things virtually, doing things like this so people can still be together because we're better that way. And I'm really honored to be here with y'all tonight playing this music in this space. I think it's a great example of how we should build bridges all the time and realize that we can live in all these different houses, but that we share this neighborhood. And so I want to play this tune. This is called Better Together because we are. And make sure I'm in tune. We tune because we care. Sounds like we're good, though. Well, we're better together. We choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand. We hold the line that we drew in the sand, and we'll make it home safe where it all began. We're better together, yeah, we choose where we stand, and we'll hold each other hand, whoa, in hand, hand in hand. We've been living so long in the shade of life we want to live. Well, thinking about how much we take and how much we give, yeah. 'Cause this heart we're feeding, well, it's starving for something real. It's about the good you do, not just the good you feel. Well, we're better together. We choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand. And we hold the line that we drew in the sand, and we'll make it home safe where it all began. We're better together. Yeah, we choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand. Well, hand in hand. Every day is a choice, and every life is a voice, and it arises each day with the sun. And we pick the verse and the chorus and the words, we sing it with everyone. Yeah, well, we won't stop reaching no matter how high we climb. There's so many more than not free of. It's about the good you do, not just the good you see. Well, the mountain, it smiles on you and me. Yeah, the mountain, it smiles on you and me. I said the mountain, it smiles on you and me. 'Cause the world was made for you and me. And yeah, we're better together. We choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand. We hold the line that we drew in the sand, and we'll make it home safe where it all began. Yeah, well, we're better together. We choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand, hand in hand. Yeah, well, we're better together. We choose where we stand and we hold each other hand in hand. We hold the line that we drew in the sand, and we'll make it home safe where it all began. Thanks a bunch. Oh, I sure appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for your holy and sacred time. I'm a big believer that the time you've got is the time you got, and that's what you got. And the fact that all of y'all are choosing to be here and share that time with each other and allow me to share some of that time with you means an awful lot. So, we all know those people that seem to know how we should live our lives better than we do, right? And they're such a gift. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for all the good lessons I've had in my life. If there's something I'm especially great at, it's completely ignoring advice. Both good and bad, sometimes to my detriment, sometimes to my benefit, but it's good to be good at something and to be proud of it. So this is so when I converted, one of the reason I'm telling you that is one of the many things I have is had a lot of people telling me how I was supposed to be Jewish or not Jewish, or what was Jewish or what wasn't, or you can't write Jewish country music, and you can't put that melody with this. Right? I've been lots of advice, and finally, I just figured, you know what? I'm gonna keep figuring this out and blaze a path, and we'll see what happens, right? And that's how you own your life. You really got to do that. So this is a song for all those wonderful lessons out there. It's called "Say What You Will." I'm going to tell you, by the way, the word fence is in here. And I know we're in Texas now, but when I'm traveling on the road, a lot of times when I say this line, people think I'm talking about the border fence. I'm not. I'm talking about the fence around the Torah, right? The idea that we have this sacred thing that we care about, and we build this fence around it to kind of protect it, right? So that's really what that's about. Some people have been like, "Oh, sneaky political commentary." I'm like, that's not at all what's happening here. All right, here we go. And then I'm going to play you a little barroom tune. Well, say what you will, and I'll say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free, just trying to do all that God asked of me. Say what you will, when I say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free, just trying to do all that God asked of me. We can be jaded at times and feel faded at times and be tucked away. Too far to see, we surrender to our inner lies and not feel the truth of who we're meant to be, 'cause we're all a beacon of light to the seekers inside that want to be free. Did the AC just kick on? Oh, perfect timing. Say what you will when I say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free, just trying to do all that God asked of me. So hold on to the tree, yeah, and all that you do, and be proud of yourself and always be you, 'cause there's strength in our story and there's strength in our song. We'll be alright in each other's arms. So build your fence, but don't build it so high that you can't see outside. Every soul is a beacon, each spirit a breath, and we give to each other, but we forget what we live. So pray like a child and be the gift that you are, not each other's judge, but each other's heart. Say what you will when I say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free, just trying to do all that God asked of me. Say what you will, and I'll say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free, just trying to do all that God asked of me. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I got a phone call from the Greater El Paso Jewish Federation. Oh, right on. Let's hear it for El Paso. And well, that actually comes into the story. That exact sound here. That's true. So hold on. I'll cue you, and we'll do it together. Too funny. I got a call from the Greater El Paso Jewish Federation. They said, "Hey, I'm not going to impersonate the guy, but he had the most beautiful, delicious Israeli accent you've ever heard in your life. It was amazing. His name was Itan. And he said, we want to bring you out. We want to hire you for this gig for Israel Independence Day." I said, "Well, I've never been to Israel." And he goes, "That's fine. The rabbi loves your music." I said, "Oh, okay." He goes, "You do Israeli folk music, right?" I said, No, not. I said, "Have you heard what I do?" He goes, No, but it's going to be great." I said, "Listen, how about I send you," because I would never want to misrepresent, right? That'd be the worst thing. Get out there, and they're like, "We can't dance to this." And so I was like, "I'll send you some tunes. You check it out. You let me know if you're into it. If you are, I'll come and I'll do the gig." So I call him like a week before I'm supposed to fly out. "Hey, just checking in. Did you hear what I sent you?" No, but the rabbi loves your music. It's going to be great." So, all right. So I go out there. We're in this room, about 500 Jews, which is a tremendous, significant number of Jews to have in one room. And I'm looking out there, and I said to the whole room, it was so quiet, I said, I've never been to Israel. And you could have heard a pin drop in that place. But I said, but I have been to Texas. That's exactly what happened. Somebody in the back goes, "Ow!" like that. And I was like, wow, either y'all have had enough to drink or you're my people. So I believe that wherever you go is holy ground. I love that we have a holy land. I'm into it. I'm super into it. But you can't lose sight of the fact that wherever you're going is holy ground. This is holy land you're on. Your life, formed from the cosmic vapor of the universe on God's breath, is taking place exactly where you are. This is holy ground. And God and I first met in Texas. And so this is a song about that. You may recognize some places. It's so funny. I'm so used to going, anybody here been to Texas? And I'm not used to playing this song in Texas. I can't really get away with this song in Oklahoma, although they did let me play it last. Swig of water here. We don't say swig of water, do we? I mean, I guess you can. All right, here we go. Well, I've never been to Israel, but I floated the Frio River. That's what I was hoping would happen. They don't make hummus at Neil's. They make a mean chicken dinner. Well, them mesquite trees and them singing leaves, well, they always remind me of God. Floating back in tubes, well, it feels so darn good that it might get outlawed. Yeah, now Texas is like a holy land to me. It's a place where the heavens feel close. Every guy taught me to see. Yeah, and if I don't make my way, it'll make my way across that sea someday. I'll be glad I lived in Texas, where I first found the reason to pray. Oh, pick it up! When I was a kid, I was trouble born and trouble dead. No one thought I'd make it to 15. I was such a mess. Well, I struggling, well, I did my best, and the getting good was getting pretty lean. I believe God's where you are. We met under that lone star between you and God. There ain't no one between. If you're feeling down, well, my friend, just come on down to the state where the name means anything but mean. Hey, now Texas is like a holy land to me. Oh, yeah. It's a place where the heavens feel close. Every guy taught me to see. If I don't make my way across that sea someday, I'll be glad I lived in Texas, where I first found the reason to pray. When I die, well, I may not go to heaven, 'cause I don't know what they let cowboys in. And if they don't, yeah, well, just let me go to Texas. Yeah, 'cause Texas is as close as I've been. And I'll be glad I lived in Texas, where I first found the reason to pray. And I'll be glad I lived in Texas, where I first found the reason. Yeah, to pray. I got to tell you, that song is always kind of like the test. Like, if that goes over well, then we're in good shape. We're in good shape. So we did this interview over here just before starting all this music tonight. We were talking about the songwriting process and everything, and kind of what goes into it, where the inspiration comes from. And you know, I mean, Judaism came into my life much later on in my life, but it's been the driving force. But Judaism and my wife have inspired everything that I've written that has been meaningful to me and felt important to write. One of those things that feels so important is really exploring some of the tragedies that are in the Torah. There's some sad stories. It's like ripe for like blues and country music. It really is. I was thinking we were talking about Noah. You know, Noah's told, you know, God says, I'm going to flood the world and build this boat for you and your family. But does Noah go out and knock on any doors? Does Noah go to people and say, change your ways, you can do this, we can do this, change your ways, I believe in you, let's change the course? No. Grows the cedars, builds the boat, and that's it. So it's said in the stories that Noah was the most righteous of his time. Well, what's the comparison, right? The world is not great at this point in this tale. So I was thinking about the people that didn't make it on the boat. And so this song came about. It's a kind of a heavy tune, but I mean, if you're going to do country music, you got to write some heavy tunes, right? So I'm going to play two heartbreakers for you. The first one is a little more angry. There's a difference between being righteous and being self-righteous. By the way, this is from the perspective of someone not getting on that boat. Hey, I'm a simple man just trying to do the best I can. They tell me the world's gonna end. Somewhere there's a righteous man who was saved by following his God's plan, and we're all gonna drown in our sin. Well, now the water comes steady. Oh, the water comes steady. Yeah, the water comes steady when the rain comes down. It feels so heavy. Build your boat, but don't you know the rest of us don't float? I know God gave it to you, but can you use a few more on your crew? And what did my children do to deserve this fate, but not you? Can I get some saving too? Am I to die for all the killing and the stealing I've done? After all that I've been through, this is the world your God made. Tell me, what did he expect I would do? Yeah, nah, nah, nah. No, why don't you look at me with those righteous eyes, 'cause you can't see I'm a righteous man too, yeah. Here come and drop so hard. Give your family my regards, and I hope your guilt built a good ship too. Well, now the water comes steady. Oh, the water comes steady. Yeah, the water comes steady when the rain comes down. It feels so heavy. Well, now the water comes steady. Yeah, the water comes steady. Oh, the water comes steady when the rain comes down. It feels so heavy. And wade in the water. Yeah, wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. 'Cause God's gonna trouble the water. Thank you so much. You know what? Let's bring it up a little bit from that. That's a heavy piece of business. All right, can I play something for y'all that's just a little silly? Is that okay? We just have a little. I feel like after a song that heavy, we need to have something a little silly. Laughter is terrible. You can't be serious with laughter. So this is not a song with any real religious context, although I do think there's a deeper message here, maybe for the high holy days somehow. I woke my wife up about 2 o'clock in the morning one morning. I said, April, I just had the craziest dream. I want to tell you about it. And she goes, all right, what was it? I said, I had a dream that I was on a spaceship with Willie Nelson. And she said, I'm going back to bed. And true story. Like, that's a terrible time to wake anybody up with a song. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, 2 in the morning. April, listen to the song I wrote. She's like, I was asleep, but it was good. So this is a song about Willie Nelson on a spaceship. But I will tell you, there's a part in here where we talk about Brad Pitt. Yeah, he was there too. It was a whole thing. And when I point at you, I want you to shout, "Poor Brad!" So let's try that real quick. Poor Brad. One more time. Poor Brad. Oh, y'all are great. Well, I had a dream. It was pretty darn weird, and I guess that's how most dreams go. This one was way out in outer space with a red-headed stranger and a dangerous foe. We're going to send this to Willie on his birthday. It was Willie Nelson's birthday, and the party was great. Then we all finally shuffled to sleep. And as we slept in our pods, the alarm went off, and the trouble we were in was pretty darn deep. Come on, Willie, there's a space monster coming. We gotta go, we gotta head for the door. Created by people with wounded hearts. It got all their friends, and now it wants more. As we rounded the corner, there was Brad Pitt, and he was looking a bit at his worst. Said, Brad, what are you doing out in outer space? And he started to speak, but the beast got him first. Y'all are so good. Come on, Willie, there's a space monster coming. We gotta go, we gotta head for the door. Created by people with wounded hearts. It got all their friends, and now it wants more. As we reached the hatch, it was right on our backs, and we escaped out into the sun. Willie looked out, and he had a great laugh and said, man, I had a good run. Well, how did it start? We asked ourselves in a parking lot made of ice cream. Then Willie looked out like a wise old owl and said, only the wounded will know what it means. Come on, Willie, there's a space monster coming. We gotta go, we gotta head for the door. Created by people with wounded hearts. It got all their friends, and now it wants more. Well, come on, Willie, there's a space monster coming. We gotta go, we gotta head for the door. Well, created by people with wounded hearts. It got all their friends, and now it wants more. All righty, I got two more tunes here for you tonight. The first one is kind of an evening prayer that we say Hashkivenu. We say this Hashkivenu prayer, the idea of laying down in peace, and we want to come back the next morning in peace as our spirits are returned to us, and all these things of shelter and safety and security. But when Hurricane Harvey blew through Houston, what a struggle to look outside the window and see that kind of stuff. You know, I'm a big fan of, it's okay, like the Jewish people in general, but I think everybody should be God wrestlers a little bit, right? Struggle with these things to say, wait a minute, hold the phone. No, that doesn't make sense. What? It's okay, right? Because then we find a deeper meaning. There's that joke about like 2 people, 3 opinions, right? I think really what happens there is that third opinion is a greater understanding of what we're talking about. By listening to each other, by digging deep, by being able to argue in the best sense, but really being there for each other when we do it, not to downplay or change the other person's mind, but to really listen, right? So the people looking outside, let me get back to my story about Harvey. Looking outside, what a struggle to see God sometimes. You know, I got to think, what was that like? Having friends who, they've rebuilt their home, I don't know how many times. We had, homes and JCCs. I know we saw video footage, at least it was shared on Facebook, of some of these community centers with furniture floating up to the ceiling. They just rebuilt. How hard to go we have shelter and safety and security, and sometimes tough to see God. But we have this beautiful idea, okay, this beautiful belief that we're all B'Tselem Elohim, that we're all made in the image of God. And if you looked around, you could see God everywhere. Neighbors helping neighbors rebuild their homes. People forming human chains to pull people out of cars that were underwater on the freeway. HEB coming into neighborhoods, unannounced when they weren't supposed to be in there, in these big trucks, to make sure that people got supplies. People in rowboats going down to try to bring stuff to people. I mean, the amount of human connection was just through the roof, and that's where God is. If we're made in the image of God, you can see God in the world and in the way people work. It's a beautiful reminder. We have this other phrase, the idea that fish don't think about water. It's easy to lose sight of the thing that's all around us all the time, and that's God's love, goodness, and each other. So this Hashkivenu was written from the idea of struggle. I will tell you, I don't know how I've stayed in tune this whole time. This is amazing. This is a truly blessed space. We'll spread out the shelter over us and guide us so in love. Yeah, will shield us from the storm that blows our way. Well, yeah, there's shelter in the shadow of your wings. Hashki Venu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Le Shalom, Hamidenu, Shomreinu Lechayim. Lay us down, Lord, lay us down. Down, oh down in peace. You raise us with eyes to see that there's shelter in the shadow of your wings. Hashki Venu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Le Shalom, Yavahami Shomreinu Lechayim. Hashki Venu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Le Shalom, Hamidenu, Malkeinu Lechayim. We pray for life, Lord, and we pray for peace. Well, now and when the drums are at ease, yeah, well, blessed is the one who gave us breath, and you saved us so we can live what we've got left. Hashki Venu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Le Shalom, Lehamidenu, Shomreinu Lechayim. Hashki Venu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Le Shalom, Lehamidenu, Malkeinu Lechayim. With their shelter in the shadow of your wings. If you want to jump in there, you can. Shelter in the shadow of your wings. The shelter in the shadow of your wings. Two more times. Yeah, there's shelter in the shadow of your wings. Well, there's shelter in the shadow of your wings. Thanks so much. All right, one more little closing tune here for you. This is called Small Town Tonight. I do this at the end of, oh, thanks. I do this. She's heard the album. I do this at the end of, concerts, Shabbat services, prayer services. Normally we like unplug and then we get in like a big close circle. But I know we got these folks here kind of online, so I'm going to keep it up here. But I do want to tell you, if you want to jump in here on this chorus, please feel free to. You have beautiful, amazing voices. And there's this miracle taking place. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I'm a big fan. Well, I don't know if you're aware of the miracle, but I'm a big fan of miracles, and here it is. The sound that you're making together in this room tonight has never been heard before. It's existed since the dawn of creation. Since the universe was formed on the vapor of God's breath, this sound has existed, but it's never been heard until tonight, and it will never be heard again. So listen to the sound of your voice. No matter what kind of singer you think you are, I promise you, we all sound better when we sing together. So listen to the voice of God next to you and your neighbor and what y'all sound like together. Well, it's a big world. It's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. Just like that. Y'all try it. Well, it's a big world. It's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, Small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. And we've crossed the desert, we've been through the sea, we've drifted apart, we've been close as can be, and we made new friends and new family. But we're gathered tonight in peace. Yeah, and it's a big world. It's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. And if you're feeling alone, you're not on your own. We've all been there at times in our lives. So fill up your cup, yeah, come on, raise it up, 'cause we saved you a place at our side. Yeah, and it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. Many road maps exist, there's a lot of exits. It's okay to get lost on the way. Yeah, well, I'm a traveler too, and I'm glad I met you, 'cause it looks like we're headed the same way. And it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. Well, the day is done, and the night arrives like a prayer across the sky. Whisper sweet words before we close our eyes, and our dreams, they take us from the earth. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, now thank you for the light that you bring. Good night, my love. Yeah, good night, my love. Oh, good night, my everything. There's one more song before we close our eyes, yeah, and we rest from the choices we've made. We thank you, God, for the life we've got, and for the blessings today. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, now thank you for the light that you bring. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, good night, my everything. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Thank you so much for having me out. Thanks for your time. One more? I'll do one more. You know, I'll do one more. I didn't plan for this, by the way, but I'm going to do it, just so you know. I feel like I should tell you that because I went and saw Black Sabbath in concert. And, right, yeah. Well, after the last song, Ozzy went around the side of the stage, and he was standing there waiting to come back out, but everybody could see him. It was great. And then, sure enough, he comes back out. By the way, Ozzy Osbourne sounds like $1 million. Sounds amazing. This is called Shine. I know we just had Hanukkah, but there's some great messages in here that you can take throughout the year. By the way, when those celebrations come around, those messages are meant to be carried, not encapsulated like, okay, well, now that holiday is done, we no longer have these. No, keep that stuff going. Those moments of inspiration should carry throughout our days, throughout our lives, no matter what holiday it is or how we do it. But too many times we're afraid to be who we are for the world to see. We don't want to stand out. We don't want to sing out loud. Sometimes we don't want to invite hate. Well, hey, that's a terrible way to live your life. We don't need to hide. You just shine your light out, but just don't put it out. And you shine your beautiful light, and you're crazy bright. Many years ago were those Maccabees to back the temple for you and me, so we could be free to pray in peace. So don't worry, no, we keep on light your lights and leave them on for the world to see. 'Cause you were born to be free. You just shine your light out. Yeah, but don't put it out. And you shine your beautiful light, and you're crazy bright. Hillel was right. It's a growing light. If I'm not for myself, who'll be for me? And if I'm only for me, then who am I? And if not now, then when? And let the cane on line, but Malchut Shaddai. We're gonna rock this world with truth and light and be a shining star. 'Cause that's what you are, and you shine your light out, but just don't put it out. And you shine your beautiful light, and you're crazy bright. El haoli dol, the old pole, the old is gold, bole hashachor digi die. Must be kvar hashachar, tigat da bachabo et le'ava. Kolu chab menu or katan, ubiyacha kolanu or katan. Tibor koha, al tivchad, rak tizraor, and you shine your light out. Yeah, but just don't put it out. And you shine your beautiful light, and you're crazy bright. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thanks for all the good that you put in the world.
Thank you so much for being here. Again, Joe Buchanan, joebuchananmusic.com. Send all of the tips his way, and can't wait to have you back. And we'll be back next month right here at Café Cædmon. Blessings.